All right, friends, so yesterday we talked about polygons, and so we started by talking about the vocabulary associated with the polygons that we're going to need to know as we move into polyhedrons. So first is a quadrilateral. A quadrilateral is a four-sided polygon. A vertex is a point where two edges meet. An edge is a line segment. And a polygon or polyhedron a side is also a line segment in a polygon or polyhedron. A polygon is a two-dimensional figure composed of straight line segments connected end to end. All right? So the first thing that we did is we did which one does not belong. And so each one of these triangles is different, so we just have to address how they're different. So triangle S is the only right triangle. It's the only one that has the right angle. Triangle U is the only acute triangle. Triangle T is the only scalene triangle. Scalene meaning that none of the sides are equal. And then triangle V is the only obtuse isosceles triangle. So a couple of these words, right triangle means that it has a right angle. Acute triangle means that none of its angles are greater than 90 degrees. Scalene triangle means that none of the sides are the same. And obtuse means it has an angle measurement that's greater than 90 degrees. And isosceles means that two of the sides are the same. All right, moving forward. The second part of our notes talked about these are polygons at the top, and then these are not polygons. There should be a shape here that's filled in with no edges, right? So it's just filled in. There's no line segments. I had to make line segments, but if you just have something colored in and it has no line segments, like these up here, these are line segments from this point to that point, that's a line segment, then it's not a polygon. So these are what you consider examples, and these are non-examples. So circle the figures that are polygons. So the ones based off of this list, the ones that are polygons are B, E, F, and G. A is not a polygon because you cannot have a line segment that's not connected back to the starting point. C is not a polygon, but it's a polyhedron because it's three-dimensional. D, polygons don't have curves. H should be a triangle that's just filled in, kind of like that square that I filled in up there, so it's not because it doesn't have edges. This one right here, you can't have any intersecting or overlapping lines. And then here, if I were to start here and go around, right, it doesn't go through all of the shape, right? So therefore, that doesn't work either because you cannot overlap. So the second part of this is understanding what polygons have in common. So these are its characteristics. Polygons are two-dimensional. They are composed of straight lines, connecting vertices, and those straight lines will only intersect at a vertex. So those are the things that we need to know about polygons. So they're two-dimensional, they're composed of straight lines connecting vertices, and then the straight lines will intersect at a vertex. That's the only time that they're gonna overlap is at the vertex, because that's where they meet. On this page, we talked about finding the area of funky quadrilaterals by decomposing them. So it says find the area of two quadrilaterals, but we found the area of all of them. So I cut the first one into two triangles. Know that the base of this triangle is 4 and the height is 2. So I know that 4 times 2 is 8, and then cut that in half. That's 4. And the other triangle is 4. The height is 4. I do 4 times 4 equals 16. And then cut that in half, that's 8. And then I have to do 8 plus 4, which gives me 12 square units. For B, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into a small triangle at the top, then cut it into a rectangle, and then cut it into a larger triangle here. Remember that to find the area of a rectangle, it's just base times height, so that's 4 times 2, which is 8. This triangle here has a base of 1, 2, 3, 4, and a height of 4, so that's 4 times 4, cut in half, that's also 8. This triangle has a base of 1 and a height of 4. 4 times 1 is 4, cut in half, it's 2. So I have 8 plus 8 plus 2, which gives me 18 square units for B. Over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into two identical triangles and a square in the middle. So since I know that these are identical triangles, I only have to find the area of one of them and then just make sure that I write it in the other and add it. So remember, to find the area of a square, it's just 4 times 4, which is 16. The base of this triangle is 3. The height of this triangle is 4. 4 times 3 equals 12. Cut it in half, you get 6. So this is 6 and this is 6. So then I have 16 plus 12, which gives me 28 square units. For this kite here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into two identical triangles, just like that. So there's an identical triangle on both sides. The base of this triangle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the height is 2. So 7 times 2 would give me 14, and then cut that in half is 7. So then I have 1 7 and another 7 because they're 1 7 and another 7 because they're identical. So that's going to give me 14 square units. Over here, I'm going to make a rectangle and a large triangle. The rectangle has an area of 6 square units. The triangle has an area of, it has a base of 3 and a height of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 3 equals 18. Cut that in half, you get 9. So I have 9 plus 6, which equals 15 square units. And then this last problem here, I'm going to cut it into two identical triangles right down the middle, which means that both triangles should have the same area. So I'm going to find the area of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Divided by 2 is 9. And because there's two of them, it's 9 plus 9 equals 18 square units. And we finished our day with trying to find the area of this pinwheel. Again, we're going to decompose it into shapes. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut these into triangles on the outside. That's the first thing I'm going to do. All these triangles are identical, so I'm going to find the area of one of them and then multiply by 4 because there are 4 of them. So the base of this triangle is 2. The height of this triangle is 3. So 2 times 3 equals 6. Cut it in half. Each triangle is 3 units. So I have the first part of this is 3 times 4 equals 12. That's one part of my answer. Now I need to decompose the rest of the shape. What I did is I connected this triangle to the opposite triangle of it, and you'll notice that that makes a rectangle. And then I did the same thing on the opposite side. So right now you should see kind of a cross in the middle, and you should see 4 identical triangles on the outside, and then kind of there's going to be 5 squares on the inside if you do something like that. So what I'm going to do is find the area of the small triangle. So step 2 is going to be finding the area of those. The base of this triangle, each of these triangles is 2. The height is also 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then cut that in half, right, is 2. So I have 2 times 4, which equals 8. So far I have 12, and I have 8. And then I have to find the area of these squares. To find the area of these squares, what I'm going to do is I am going to know that each square has 4 square units. So that is 4 times 5. And that equals 20. So I have 8 plus 2, which is 10, and then 2 plus 2, which is 40. 40 square units.